I don't want to make a second stage speech or anything, but it's my first speech on this issue since I became Fianna Fáil spokesman on foreign affairs. So if you give me a small bit of leeway, it's important for my party that we outline exactly what our position is on this. And I welcome the bill and I commend Senator Black and her colleagues for introducing it. And we, Fianna Fáil, have decided to support the bill at second stage and again at committee stage. And I'm supporting the section. My party have had a long-held interest in Middle East peace process, and it was a Fianna Fáil-led government, indeed, who was the first member state of the EU to propose the two-state solution. In supporting the bill and the section, we are very conscious of the wrongs that are being committed by both sides, and it is certainly not our intention to alienate Israel or its allies. We fully support Israel's right to self-determination and self-defence, and we further believe, and I want to say it on record, that we believe there is an onus on the Palestinian Authority to act responsibly in its interactions with Israel and to do all it can to prevent attacks on the Israeli people. Notwithstanding that, we are deeply frustrated by the lack of progress towards the two-state solution. We believe that the continued expansion of illegal settlements on Palestinian land and the deteriorating humanitarian situation in Gaza and the West Bank cannot be allowed to continue. It was the late Brian Linehan Sr. In 1980 who unequivocally stated that the Palestinian people had a right to self-determination and to an independent state in Palestine, and that remains key policy of my party to this day. We also respect the State of Israel and its undisputed right to self-determination and self-defence. Attacks on Israel and incitement to violent action is unacceptable to us. However, we cannot support the continuous building by Israelis on Palestinian land, a project which has proven to be totally disastrous for the peace process. Just one or two more points. I think since I took on this brief and since this motion was flagged, I have been inundated by messages of support for the Palestinian position. I welcome and I respect all these communications, but I have heard almost nothing whatsoever in support of Israel. And it's my personal opinion that Israel seems to have a serious public relations problem in that regard. There are two sides to every story, as we know, and while I'm in this brief, I intend to look at both sides and to make a fair assessment on it. There is a pro-Palestinian consensus in this country, which I'm not part of, and I'm not one who wants to blame the State of Israel for everything. It is worth recalling that the people of Israel, the Jewish nation, have undergone suppression and abuse, and they have to endure behaviour that I think no other nation in the history of this world have had to endure. And even ourselves, in our long history of imperial repression by the British, all that sad story of our own pales into insignificance when you put it up against the Holocaust and the travails of the Jewish people over centuries. And it's not too much to hope that the Israeli people would, at this late stage, be allowed to have a home in peace and in security. And I'm calling on both sides of the conflict to take it more seriously in relation to they all profess to believe in the two-nation theory, but in practice we don't see a sign of it from either side. So with those opening remarks, I'll conclude.